Welcome back, everyone, to We Talk Film. I'm your host, Barry, joined by Clayton and many other people today. Wow, this is
many
like
other
the full
people?
cast. Many other people. They are other people.
Oh.
Do you want to introduce our people today, Clayton?
Sure, Barry. We are joined by two very lovely, special people today. This is the most amount of guests we've ever had, so we're bringing a very special episode. We are discussing the best films of the 2010s, and since it's the last decade that we can do for the next 6 years, we thought, why not get some differing voices, get some interesting people. So we're bringing you Brianna Powell and Alexia Hartnett onto the show. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello. There we go.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, we got the audience. We've also got an audience today, so, you know, we're going to be fine.
They sound like they're screaming. That's not...
No, they're not. No, they're not.
They're fine.
They're laughing. They're very happy.
Laughing?
Yeah.
Are you sure they're laughing? I don't know if they're laughing.
There's something.
Okay. All right, Barry. While we're
They don't like you.
quelling the studio audience, before we get into the main topic tonight, as always, Barry, why don't you throw us on over to the newsroom for the news of the week?
Woo!
There's the news.
Yeah, it's very impressive. Barry has a button for it and everything. It's very cool.
Just one dedicated button, just solely for the
Amazing.
news, because I kept on forgetting it.
It's my favorite part. Okay, so for the news, feel free to chime in at any point. I'm reading off a couple things. Not much happened this week, but there are a few things that I would like to bring up. The first of which is we got a trailer for Robert Eggers' new film, Nosferatu. And this looks really cool. I'm not sure if any of you guys have watched the trailer for it, but it's a remake of the vampire movie from the 1920s. Starring Willem Dafoe and a whole bunch of other people. Yeah, the silent vampire
And
film.
it
You've seen
comes
it,
out
like,
Christmas.
yeah, it comes out towards the end of the year. It looks very cool, very scary. So I'm very excited.
It's a shame it's coming out on Christmas, though.
Yeah, it's a
Lovely
vampire
Christmas
film.
movie.
Vampires are Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, you can
They're
go
like
and
the
take the
snow.
entire family to go and see it. Yeah.
Watching a vampire movie.
Yeah. The other trailer that I'd like to mention is we got a trailer for a locally made film called Runt, about a show-jumping dog. And it was filmed out my way, out in York and throughout Perth. And we know some people that worked on it. We might talk to them about it when this comes out, because it's coming out in September. And it looks actually kind of good, I will say.
Oh, cool. I have never heard anything about it, but sure.
I don't know anything about it. They were doing it straight after they were filming the 12. The same extras company were doing both of them. And like Jaden from our class was a runner on it. So there was a whole bunch of people working on it. Yeah, it's very cool.
Were you another
And
extra again?
I was offered to extra work on it, but I couldn't because I was busy at TAFE, and because I just took off a week to do the 12. I was like, maybe next time. But I wish that I did.
Is it local, like in Perth, or?
Some of it was filmed in Perth, and most of it was filmed in York.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, it was very cool. But it stars Jai Courtney, who we might remember as the guy who played Carl Reese in Terminator Genesis. He's also Captain Boomerang in the Suicide Squad films. So he was the main guy in it.
That's so exciting.
Would have been very cool to meet him. Yeah, well, check out that movie when it comes out in September, and hopefully talk to some people that worked on it. That would be amazing. So moving away from trailers, there's only 3 main stories that I'd like to bring up tonight. The first of which is we got an official announcement that Shrek 5 and a Donkey spin-off film are both in production. They're both in the works.
No.
Eddie
Shrek
Murphy himself
5?
confirmed this. Yeah, we're getting a 5th Shrek and a Donkey movie.
Wait, like Donkey from Shrek?
Oh yes, yeah, like Donkey from Shrek. I don't know any other donkeys.
That's fabulous. That's just what we need.
I think it's great. I think
I'm
it's
actually
gonna be
more
so much
excited for
fun.
that one than Shrek 5.
The Donkey movie? What would the Donkey movie even be about? Like,
Maybe like an origin story.
An origin story?
Rude. Do
I
we
mean,
actually
I don't know.
maybe.
see Donkey's
We never
family in
know.
Shrek
Like, yeah, we
movies?
never see like where Donkey came from, like at all.
I mean, they
I
did it
reckon that
with
would.
Puss in
Well, we're
Boots. I
about to find
completely forgot
out.
about that. Like, there's already a Shrek
Oh, did they?
spin-off. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's right. I want another Puss in
yeah.
Boots, to be honest. Couldn't care less about Donkey, but
Yeah.
It would be very cool. And also, Barry, I
sorry.
can't hear
Yeah.
you anymore. You're gone. Your audio's disappeared. So while Barry's fixing that, I'm going to move on to the next story. Is we got a release date for Dune Messiah, the third film in the trilogy. It's not coming out until December 2026, but we know that it's happening. I don't know how much
Oh,
of a
that's
Dune
exciting.
are you guys? Have you seen the recent Dune films?
I have not. Yeah,
Meaning
sad to say.
to, but I know it's good.
Meaning to, definitely, because people are saying it's absolutely phenomenal.
They are very impressive works of filmmaking, and great stories. I love it. Some really good sci-fi stuff there. Definitely
Oh,
check them
yeah.
out
I saw the first
at some
one,
point.
definitely. Yeah, I saw the first one with my dad, and we were just like in awe. It was just like, it's got the Star Trek vibe, but it's also got this like Western desert, like Star Wars, and we were just like fell in love with it. But I sort of forgot about the second one that came out. But it's good to hear that they're just pumping out another one.
Yeah, I mean the same
It's like
guys just
They even have a
making it.
TV show. So
Oh, Barry's back.
they do.
Yeah, they're
yeah,
doing
TV
something.
show comes out later this year or something.
That's exciting.
I think
Yeah.
they start work on it later this year. I don't think it comes out later.
Oh, there was a
this year. I'm
trailer.
not quite
There
sure.
was a trailer. Has
Was
been
there?
released for it. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I did watch that. Yeah, never mind. Don't listen to me.
Yeah.
Barry's right. Okay. The
You
last
reported
story.
on it.
Yeah, that shows how much I remember about the news. The last story that I'd like to bring
Exactly.
up is kind of important because a couple years back over in Hollywood, they messed with a deal that was iterated in the early 1900s regarding theaters because movie studios initially since I think 1948 couldn't buy movie theaters as well. Like the studios couldn't own the theaters so that they couldn't
Oh,
distribute
yeah.
their own movies and have like a whole monopoly over the market. Well, that was recently overturned. But because it was overturned, it hasn't taken very long for a studio to purchase a theater chain. And the
Oh,
deal's
no.
gone through so quickly because this is a Japanese company and not an American company. So the deal doesn't apply to them technically. So Sony has bought out the Alamo Drafthouse chain across America, which is one of the
Oh.
major private theater chains. So it's
Yep.
not a good thing because they're going to be filled with Sony advertisement and just lots of Sony stuff.
Does that mean
Terrible for
it's
the
like
industry.
fully branded by Sony?
So
Yeah,
it's
they
just gonna
own the
be like
theaters.
Venom stuff everywhere and stuff
Oh.
like that.
Yeah, pretty much. It would be like if like Palace Cinemas in Australia was bought out by like Disney or something, and then like they have the opportunity to only show Disney movies there or something because they bought it.
Oh, that's so bad.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is
Yeah,
bad.
that's not very
and
good for
that's
creativity.
why the deal existed for like 70 years, and now they've only just gotten rid of it. Big
I
shame.
wonder why they got rid of it.
Um,
Money making, maybe?
It's money. Yeah, that's it for the
Hmm.
news this week. Barry's camera just died. He's having lots of fun tonight.
I see that.
But you forgot about
Yeah.
the new trailer with like so many new famous people in it. It's called Red One.
Red
Who's
One.
in it?
Oh,
Yeah, it's got like Dwayne Johnson. It's got the guy who I've forgotten his name, but he was in
Oh.
what's his name? He's really famous.
The Christmas one. You're Chris
The
Evans.
actor guy. Chris
The
Evans,
actor
yes.
guy. Yeah,
The
I
actor
did see
guy.
the trailer for that. Yeah,
The guy who's
the
in Whiplash,
Christmas
that's right.
movie. J.K.
It looks
Simmons plays Santa.
phenomenal. Yeah, J.K. Simmons. It was really, really like it's just like a different concept, and I was like so excited for it.
It did look kind of
Looking at
stupid.
that now.
I
I didn't even see that
yeah.
trailer.
No,
Sorry, I just
I
had to
saw it and
mention.
forgot about it. No, that feel free to.
Oh,
Okay.
apparently it came out like really recently though.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
a week ago or less.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
It's very cool though. Okay, so that's it for the news. Unless anyone else has any surprise stories. And if Barry comes back from the dead or wherever he's gone, he's just disappearing on us.
Being the only one with my
We're
face on
unsure.
here.
It's fine. You can be the face of the podcast. I don't watch the videos, so I don't see the video. I just look at the audio on Spotify, so I don't have that issue.
Oh. Screw that.
Oh well. So while we wait for Barry to come back, why don't I explain what's happening today? Because this is a very special episode, and I am unsure if you guys know how our draft episodes work.
No, I'm
No.
not, and I'm very concerned.
Good, because this is all new shit. So if you said yes, I would have been like, well, too bad, because this is completely different. So we are discussing the best films of the 2010s, but we're not
I
just
already have
gonna
one.
we're not just gonna do it in a boring way of like, oh, here's my favorite movie, yada yada, because that's boring. There's no competition there. So tonight we're bringing a draft, which we call the film draft. We do this every decades, but usually it's just me and Barry, so it's a whole nother ball game. But because there's 2 extras, it's very special. So we are going to go in order, one by one, picking movies in a way that stops the others. Okay, I'm trying to explain this well. I'm also waiting for Barry because he usually does this shit. Okay, so we take it in turns picking movies in order to claim them. Because once a movie has been picked, another person cannot pick it. And we have to try and compete to get the best list of 6 films from the decade that is the 2010s.
See, I think I can do that.
I hope no one will
Think you can do that?
take my movie, because I'm thinking of a really good one.
I'm thinking
Yeah,
of
see, now that's
really good
the
6.
problem. Because people can claim your movie if they go first. Because there's 4 of us, we are gonna
I think we're talking about
it's
movies.
any movie that came out in 2010. So it can be a documentary film if you like. It can be a feature film, as long as you'd call it a movie or you'd call it a film.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's okay. Barry, are you back yet?
I don't know.
Oh, I can hear you.
Oh, he's back.
We can hear you.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, just don't. We can hear you, so
Technical
that's the main
issues.
thing. Okay, Barry, are you ready for tonight's draft? You remember how it works?
I somewhat remember how it works. Hey, I'm just gonna turn off that. There we go. Problem solved.
That's fine. Sorry about it. We'll figure it out as we go. I've already got the order that we're going in, but as I was saying, because there's 4 of us, we're going to do it in a snake draft pattern. So whoever goes last at the end of the first round gets to pick 2 films, and then it circles backwards. So say if Barry goes last, he picks 2, and then it'll go back to the third person till it gets to who went first. And then they can pick 2 films, and it keeps circling back and forth like a snake.
Okay.
So it's going to be very interesting. So,
please repeat that.
I'll explain it as we go. It's okay, but we can only pick 6 films, so this is where it gets tough. Because we're going to be fighting over what we consider the best. We're going to be trying to get films that we really want before someone else can pick them. And we're also trying to come up with the best list, because people on Spotify can vote for whoever has the best list, and whoever has the best one, I don't know, wins a trophy or something.
Come on, guys.
An imaginary trophy. You get to win Craig.
I want to win Craig, please. Let's get this started. Who do you decide to go first?
Okay. Well, I've already done up a little random list order.
Okay.
So the order that we are going in is Barry is first.
Oh no.
Alexia is second. I am third, and then Bree is fourth.
Seriously? Okay.
So
I know Barry's going to take mine straight away.
Because you're going last, you get to pick 2.
Probably
so when
not.
it gets to you, Bree, you get
I have
2
a few.
films.
Okay. Guaranteed.
It's very
it's
cool.
got Ryan Reynolds in it, but that's okay.
Oh no,
That's
it's
right. My first one doesn't have Ryan Reynolds in it. So
Okay, Ryan
Oh,
Gosling.
no. All right. Well, that's a tough one. They're all mine. All of mine are Ryan Gosling. So
That's
two-
Ryan
Exactly.
Gosling because he just has the best
Okay,
films.
Barry, so
Period.
that's true. Barry, take it away for your first film. Just go straight into it. We'll figure out what we're doing.
Okay. My first film will be one from 2010, where it starts all off, called The Town, directed and written by Ben Affleck, also starring Ben Affleck
Oh,
and Rebecca Hall and
yes.
John Hamm. This was his first ever movie that he did direct by himself. It was nominated for quite a few awards and even nominated for one Oscar. I'm not sure what Oscar it was.
Oh, stunning.
But yeah, no, I really enjoy this film. It's basically like a whole bunch of thieves robbing a bank in Boston, and stuff like that, which is like a very well-known city in America that constantly gets like robbed and very mass amounts of violence in Boston. And yeah, he was able to bring this to life, and yeah, I really do enjoy this film. So, has anyone else
nice.
watched The Town?
I think I've ever seen
I haven't
that,
seen it.
which was really funny.
Yeah, fair
No,
enough.
I also haven't.
I saw this in cinemas.
It's on the list.
My dad loves that
Yeah,
movie.
well, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so Alexia, now it's your turn to follow up off of that. So Barry's picked his film. Now you get
Okay.
to choose one of yours.
All right. Well, the one I have down as my number one is Megamind. Okay, because Megamind is just an amazing movie. It's just amazing. I love Megamind. Like, what
Yep.
can I say about? Everyone's seen it. I don't need to describe it. It's just cool blue man with big head is cool.
You said it.
Yeah.
It's
It's such
good
a good
pick.
movie. And I feel like recently, I don't know if anyone else has been getting this on their feed as well, but like a lot of people all of a sudden are just talking about Megamind again. Like I'm getting so many like Megamind reels in my Instagram for you page, like just pop up and it's like, why is everyone talking about this again? But it is well deserved
He-
because
Maybe it's
Oh,
because of the
definitely.
sequel, because that terrible reboot.
Oh,
thing
yeah,
that
they did the
actually
shitty
might have
sequel.
been. People watch the sequel and then they realize how good the first movie was after watching it. Because it's
Yeah, it's
a monstrosity.
It's a childhood classic, definitely.
unironically one of the best like animated movies ever. It's just such
I
a
actually
good
think
story, and
so.
it's so
I
funny.
honestly think it's like probably the best animated movie I've ever watched. It's just it's just such a unique.
It's up
Like you're not
there.
gonna get you're not gonna get a movie like that, an animated movie like that again. You know, like once it's made, it's made. You can't make
That's true.
anything better than that.
I mean, literally, they messed up on the sequel, so they
Yeah,
proved that
it's
point
so
themselves.
bad.
Oh
We didn't
man.
talk about the
Okay, so
sequel.
after we don't need to talk about the sequel, but after Megamind, it goes to me, for my first movie. So I'm
And it will
gonna
probably
have to
have
pick
Ryan
something.
Gosling in it.
I'm gonna have to pick something that I really want on my list, and I know that Barry would eventually steal it.
Oh, yes.
And I'm sure that someone else would have it on at least like a long list for the 2010s. I'm taking 2011's Drive, starring Ryan Gosling.
You stole my movie! How dare you!
What a good
Good.
movie that one
I'm
was.
going to write a complaint letter to HR about this, Clayton.
Okay, you do that all you want, because I got Drive, which is one of my favorite films of all time. I think it is one of the best written thriller movies of all time. The whole aesthetic and the soundtrack and everything going on in the movie just works so well, in bringing forth this different world that I don't think we've really ever seen in another movie. This is kind of in a league of its own in terms
Yeah.
of thrillers. And I very much enjoy every second of this movie. And I've watched it like 6 or 7 times, and I never
Oh,
get tired
wow.
of it. So that's why Drive is my number one.
It's a great movie, but I got to tell you, it really did scar me when I first watched it because I didn't know it was a thriller. I was not expecting the elevator scene for those who have seen it.
Oh, yes. That is
Yes.
a very full-on scene.
It's
And
very
still to
gruesome,
date.
Yeah, for its time as well. I mean, 2011, but
Yep.
really was a good movie. Like everything, the composing of the the music, it was gorgeous. So definitely up there.
So
Yeah.
good.
And that's the thing,
So
like
good.
the
Okay, so now
was it the director or whatever? Have you seen any of his other films, Clayton?
who was the director? Because I think
Nicholas
I might have.
Winding Refn. He's a Danish director.
You definitely pronounced that wrong, but the name
Yes,
is
I did.
familiar. I
Okay.
listened to like a behind the scenes thing on it, and I remember his name, but I'm not quite sure. What else has he done that we might know?
He did Bronson with Tom Hardy, if you remember that, and also like the Pusher
No, I
films
haven't seen that one.
with what's his name,
I
with
think
Mads
I saw the first
Mikkelsen.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that. I think,
Yep.
like maybe I might have seen. But that's okay. Okay, so now it goes on over to Bree, who gets to pick
Yay!
2 films back to back. So feel free
Yes.
to grab everything.
Exciting. I'm gonna go straight in there. One of my favorite films of all time, La La Land. Come on,
No,
2016.
I knew
Yeah.
someone was gonna say that.
I'm sorry, I'm a sucker for romances. Like Damien Chazelle, what he did with that movie was insane. Like I will rewatch that movie and cry my eyes out. I mean, of course, it's got Emma Stone, Ryan Gosling. Like you can't go wrong. It's a match made in
Yeah.
heaven.
yeah, no, it
I'm gonna have
is
to add something else to my list now.
great. It is
Yeah,
one of the best
definitely
films
stolen it.
ever made, and probably
Yep,
like
all time.
Damien's like only good film. I would say, like he's done some other, like Babylon was good as well, but like it's the one that like will define his career forever.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, definitely. It's very hard to top that film. I think
Yeah.
it is the best romance movie that I've ever seen.
Oh,
It is one
yeah.
of the best musicals I've ever seen.
Mhm.
And it's got some of the best acting that I've ever seen. So that's why it was on my
Yeah.
list. And I'm very
Yeah,
upset
100%.
that Bree took it because I
I'm
would have
sorry.
grabbed
You
that
know I was gonna
round
do
two.
that. Perfect.
Ah,
The
okay.
other film I was thinking, I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's 2010, Eat, Pray, Love.
Yes.
I've not
Um,
heard of that.
Eat,
It
Pray,
is
Love.
such a beautiful film. Like, I think I did end up crying, but it was just very like a slow, powerful sort of. I kind of hated the film at first, but then I like started to love it. It stars Julia Roberts. Absolute stunner, and I think it's by Ryan Murphy, the director, and he did like
Okay.
all the romance, like Under the Tuscan Sun and stuff like that. But yeah, I literally
Yeah.
love that movie, so I definitely recommend it.
The reason why it probably
I
doesn't
also
get
haven't
talked
seen it.
about too much these days is because it stars James Franco.
Oh
So it's on a blacklist
Ah.
probably now.
no, I love it. Oh, that's right, because he. Oh, I literally love that movie though.
Yeah,
What did
no,
he
it's
do?
a
I'm
good film.
a bit behind.
There were some accusations
Franco?
about some stuff that he did like 20 years ago and recently, and yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he's a weird guy.
Didn't even know.
He's a
I'm just
weird
focusing
dude.
on Julia Roberts. eating
Exactly. That's
pasta in
the good
Italy.
thing. Like Julia Roberts is great.
So true.
That's true.
So do we
Oh, okay.
we
So
sneak back?
yeah, so now it goes back to me for my second pick. Oh boy. I would have got La La Land if Brie hadn't taken that.
Sorry.
So I think I'm gonna have to take probably my second favorite romance film of all time. This is the film that really makes you think, I really should just do what that main character's doing. I feel like that is the best way to lead a nice, healthy relationship where nothing could possibly go wrong. I'm picking 2014's Gone Girl.
Oh,
starring
yeah.
Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Another one that was on my list.
Good. This is again, I've grabbed 2 thrillers, and this
Yeah.
is probably my second favorite thriller of all time. It's amazing. It's so well written. The book is just as good, but they're written by the same lady, so that's probably why. But
Yep.
it's just such a great story that just keeps throwing you on its head, and it just keeps twisting and turning the whole way through, and you never quite know what's going to happen next. And that's very rare to see in a movie that's less than 20 years old. So that's very cool.
Yeah, like good
Love
old
it.
David Fincher coming in there as he
Mm.
always does. Like he's very good at doing thrillers and everything like that. So yeah, it's like one of the best films, best
That's true.
performances
It's
by
kinda
Rosamund Pike
big.
and Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck's not like the best of actors, but this is like one of his better performances.
Yeah,
Hey, Ben
it's
Affleck
great.
is good.
He's good at writing and directing, but his brother
yeah.
is better at acting.
Fair enough.
I don't know. They're a little bit interchangeable. I mean, Casey was in some good stuff as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
Ben Affleck, when the movie's good,
Yeah.
he doesn't really need to show off because it's
Yep.
the story itself is
And he's
carrying
Ben
it, which is very
Affleck,
true
so.
for Gone Girl. And he's Ben Affleck, sure. Okay, so now it goes over to Alexia for her second pick.
So, I don't know if any of you guys have this down on your list, but I'm saying it because it's an underrated but amazing movie. But it's called 127 Hours.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
With
James
James
Franco
Franco.
again.
It's just the
Oh.
worst.
Directed by Danny Boyle, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
it's just a brilliant movie. I watched it for the first time a couple months ago, and it's so like, what's the word? Like, it's weirdly scary, but like so investing. You know what I mean? Because it's just
No.
the whole movie
Yeah.
is just about a guy who's stuck in a hole, and
Yeah.
like with his arm stuck in a hole, and that's just the whole movie. But the way they
Yep.
go about it is just so captivating. Like, I couldn't just be bored of it, you know? My eyes were like on that screen. That
And it's all
entire time.
based upon true events as well, which is the more
Yeah,
disturbing
Yeah.
part.
Scars me. Yeah.
It is, yeah, that's the word, disturbing. It is a disturbing movie, but it's amazing. I fucking love that movie so much. It's a great movie.
Yeah, definitely. It's very visceral. I think that's the word that I'd use because of how realistic the story is. And also James
Yeah.
Franco again. Is this the James Franco podcast or
No,
something?
no, we don't have any
Yeah.
association with James Franco. We don't support James Franco.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that aside, just think about the
That's so
movie.
funny.
You know?
It's the
Yeah,
third
100
last scene that really scarred me.
Which one was
Oh
that?
yeah. I had to watch it in health class.
Where he gets his.
Yeah, me too. I watched it in health class. That's so
Really?
Why'd
weird.
you watch it
I
in
watched
health
it at school.
class? That is not
Yeah,
something
we were
you
meant
should
to
watch
watch it
for
at school.
health.
Yeah, and they were like, if you're ever trapped in the
Do
desert, and you get your arm
this.
stuck. Just a spoiler alert if anyone hasn't seen it, he cuts his arm off, and that triggered me. That was
Yeah.
so. I
Yeah,
mean, it was
that's
like
kind of
great
the- yeah.
cinematography, but once again, I'm not a gore person, so that
that's
was
fair enough.
that was such a fun scene in health class.
Yeah, in class.
Yeah.
I'm just in the back going, no, no. And everyone's like, shut up.
This is the good part.
That's why you watch the movie.
Oh
The
man.
arm cutting.
Everyone was waiting for that. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
It
that's
is
the
a
whole
brilliant
movie
movie,
is him
though.
cutting his arm off. So it's
Yeah.
Oh, great movie. Okay, so now it goes back to Barry, who gets to pick two because it circles back
Oh.
around.
That's cool.
Hello.
All right. Well, I'm going to go for another Ryan Gosling film that came out in
Very nice.
2016. We all very much love Ryan Gosling, and I suppose this was his decade because he did appear like in a movie, I
It
think, every single
was.
year. So,
Yeah.
the
And they're
movie,
all good.
they're all good as well. Yeah. Is The Nice Guys with Russell Crowe, Shane Black film. It is the only good Shane Black film that Shane Black has ever done and will ever do, and a very underappreciated film. Because this kind of bring like the comedy side to Ryan Gosling a bit. This is like pre-Ken, I suppose. Like he plays this idiot
Yeah,
detective type thing, and it is hilarious. And obviously they're trying to solve this case, and it's like is it set in the 80s? Yeah, before like the fashion
70s, I think.
70s, yeah. And yeah, it's just such like a goofy movie, but it is so great. The like relationship between Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling is phenomenal in it. Like it's one of the best like buddy cop duo films ever. And like all the promotion, I remember when this came out, was like they were doing things together all the time, just like not even related to the movie, but obviously it was for promotion. But it was just like weird interviews of them just like setting up elaborate pranks on one another and stuff like that. Like it was great. And then like watching the film was just phenomenal as well to see that relationship on screen. So yeah, Has anyone else seen those,
Very
guys?
cool.
No, I
I have,
haven't.
but I'm just not a Russell Crowe fan. That's like the only thing holding it back is I just don't like Russell Crowe.
You don't like
Aw.
Russell Crowe?
Why?
Why
He's
not?
an Australian legend.
He's not
He
Australian,
feels
but yeah.
obnoxious.
He's not Australian?
Australian too.
No, he's New
Wait,
Zealander.
who am I?
No.
Oh, he's New Zealand. Oh, close.
I was gonna say close enough.
Yeah, he's
Close
a bit of a
enough.
weird guy.
Same thing.
But you know, this guy's it's a good film. It's definitely
Yeah.
worth checking out. It's one of Ryan Gosling's funniest films. So like Barry
Yeah.
said, good fun. So Barry, you get to follow that up with a second pick.
Ooh, okay. Which one will I go for then? I'm gonna go for this one. A film came out in 2012 called Looper, which I hope everyone here has heard of it because we
Yes,
actually did
yes.
talk
I
about
have
it
heard
in
of it,
class
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Obviously
It's a great
starring
movie.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Bruce Willis, Emily Blunt. It is still like my top 3 films ever made. This film, like anytime, like I just like want to watch a good film or something like that, I always have this on like standby. I have 3 different versions, like physical copies of this movie. I don't know why.
Really?
I just do. And yeah, it is a phenomenal film.
It is.
I put this on par with like time travel mechanics, like just like around the same time as like Back to the Future, like level of film with the time travel stuff and how it all came together. And yeah, it is just, if you haven't seen it before, go watch it. It is a very full on film. There's a lot of wacky elements to it, but very cool and very like kind of realist in a way, but it's set futuristic and it's got time travel. And it's
Yeah,
done
it's
by
very, like,
Ryan Johnson.
cyberpunk vibes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. This is Looper's the only good Ryan Johnson film, and I stand by that
Yeah.
because I think
You
that
guys
Looper is
just keep
amazing.
like shitting on directors.
That's why we
well,
do
it's
the
Ryan- he did The
podcast,
Last
Bree.
Jedi. It's our only excuse. Yeah, we get on here and we just shit talk people for an hour,
Yeah.
and then we call it a night.
Yeah, but it was even like just the performance of Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Like he actually like put on prosthetics during the film because he looks a bit different in the film than he does in real life to match more to look
Yeah.
like Bruce Willis, which is like the older version of him, of the character he's playing. And then he actually
wow.
like for a year beforehand, all he did was just spend time with Bruce Willis and watch Bruce Willis films to actually
Really?
talk more like Bruce Willis.
Oh, that's so damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because since they're
Method
playing the
actor.
same character.
it's
Yeah.
like method acting taken to another level.
Yeah.
I
This
love
is
when
very
actors do
impressive,
that.
and he does it so
Makes the
well.
role.
I love Joseph
yeah.
Gordon-Levitt. He's
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 great.
amazing in everything. Ever since like
Yeah.
I watched him in 500 Days of Summer, I think it's just
Yeah.
he's always been like a cool actor that I've always kept an eye out. So I love seeing him in things. Loop is one of his best. So okay, Barry, you have picked 3 films, so you're halfway through your
Whoopee!
list. Now we snake back around the other way, so it goes back to Alexia, who's trying to follow up 127 hours.
Okay. Well,
No more James Franco, please.
okay. This next one doesn't
We'll see.
have him. Don't worry. It's a very popular movie, and everyone has seen it. And if you haven't, then go watch it now because it is the best, ultimately the best movie ever. So I have Interstellar,
Yes.
from 2014 on my list because how can I not say Interstellar? It is a movie directed by the one and only Christopher Nolan. Hans Zimmer as the music composer. Like already, when
mhm.
those two work on a movie together, you know it's good.
Yep.
It's got what's his name, Matthew.
McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey
Yes, him.
All right,
Yeah,
all right, all right.
Anne Hathaway.
and Anne
so-
Hathaway.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
And Matt Damon.
and Matt Damon. Yes,
And
it
Timothy
is-
Chalamet.
No?
Oh, that's right.
What?
Yeah, he's
Was
a
he?
young kid in it. He's in like one
Really?
scene.
Yeah,
He
he's
plays
the
younger
son.
version of one of the
plays
characters.
He plays the son. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
remember.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah, it's yes, already casting is like
And it's
top
also
tier.
got Michael Caine in it too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Everyone. Yeah, no, it is a brilliant film. It's like probably the best sci-fi film I've ever seen, and in a way, it's really great as well because it's not just about sci-fi. You know, like the
yep.
film also explores like the relationship between like father and daughter, and
Yep.
it's just like when you look at the movie, that way as well. It's just
Mm,
beautiful movie. Like just
yeah,
cinematography is amazing.
it's great. It blends
Amazing.
all the best things about film, like the
Yeah.
emotions, the amazing like SFX you can do, the music. It's just it's
Yeah.
a stunning work of art,
It
that
is
film.
really beautiful. Yeah. It's an amazing movie. It gets you to think, you know? It's one of those movies
Definitely.
that gets you to think about not just about life, but about our future. And
Mm.
yeah, it's just fucking brilliant
I want
movie.
you guys. I want to watch it now.
Yeah. I
Really
sort of have
hyped
this
it up.
routine where
Yeah.
every year on my birthday, I watch Interstellar so I can like
Nice.
Love
Oh
that.
Nice.
wow.
have a great day. You know, like
Yeah.
when I watch
Yeah.
Interstellar, my
Bit of
day is like
cinematography to lighten the mood.
yeah, and I just
One day you're
can't get
gonna
over
watch
like
it, and it's gonna take like 7 years. You're gonna step outside, and it's gonna be like your 50th birthday.
yeah. And
She
it's just
That's
becomes
very
like
as
cinematic.
old as
soundtracks
Murph
as
does at the
well.
end.
The soundtracks as well is just like brilliant. Like sometimes I
Oh,
find myself just
yep,
listening to
Oh
the
yeah.
soundtracks just
definitely.
because it's just Hans Zimmer is just
So
an
powerful.
incredible composer. Yeah.
Yep,
So that's on my
definitely.
list.
Great choice. You stole it off my
Yeah.
list though.
Agreed. That's how it feels.
Too.
Yeah, that's what you get for taking La La Land.
I'm sorry. It's just
Okay.
such a good movie.
Yeah, that's why I wanted it. Okay. So now it comes back to me, and I've got to find a replacement for La La Land. Uh, I'm thinking I'll choose a movie that I'm not quite sure either of you have seen. Barry probably has seen it. This is one of the later Coen brother films from 2013 called Inside Llewyn Davis,
You
about a
goddamn
musician
bastard.
in the 60s, starring Oscar Isaac, Adam Driver, and like a bunch of other people are in it. It's an amazing film where not a lot happens,
Exactly.
like at all. The entire movie, so spoilers for Inside Llewyn Davis, is just one big loop of this guy who's not the main character trying to be the main character, and he's just kind of a dick the whole way through, while trying to make folk music in the 1960s in New York. So Bob Dylan shows up. The soundtrack is amazing. It's just him going around sleeping on people's couches and playing guitar for 2 hours, but it was
Trying to find
an
cats,
amazing
you know.
watch.
Damn.
He does try and find a cat for a long time. It's great.
It sounds
That
like it
sounds very
gives
interesting.
sort of similar vibes to Before Sunrise, that movie? Like how
Oh,
it's
that
just like
movie.
Yeah,
just two
yeah.
people just
Yeah, yeah.
talking like the whole time. Like nothing interesting happens. It's just
Yep.
two people talking. Like
I
it
didn't
kind of
particularly like that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like
No,
only certain people will like that kind of movie. It's just
Yeah.
I
it's
did like that one too.
Oh,
But yeah, inside Llewyn Davis, stuff does happen. Like a lot of it is him chasing around a cat that he loses, and then he gets the wrong cat. It's a whole thing.
And
He's
then
just
he
trying to make
drives
it as a
John
musician.
Goodman to another country and he's
He
like
does.
some composer guy and then nothing ever happens with that.
Yeah, it's just him trying to make it in the music industry, but he just can't. He keeps failing, and his own like traumas keep holding him back. And the whole thing is a cycle, as like a representation of him himself, just cycling between his friends' houses and music itself. It's so well made, and it's so good. And the fact that the movie is like a perfect loop. The last scene is the first scene, but you don't know until you get to the end. It's great. So well made. Um,
mm,
and
Definitely
that's my
one
wife's
to
favorite
check
graphic
out.
novel. So
Yeah.
sounds good.
Okay, so now it goes back to Bree, who gets two films to pick again.
Yeah. Again?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
because it cycles back around.
Okay.
It's like a loop. It's like Llewellyn Davis.
It's Looper.
Oh my god.
Difference. Ah. Okay, my first movie. This one has won 4 Academy Awards. Director, Bong Joon-ho. 2019
Ooh.
Parasite.
oh
Honestly, the first time I saw this movie, this was my awakening to film. I was like, this is cinematic. It is not in English actually, but it was so powerful. It moved me so much to really like this is how sort of I got into film, and like why I really love it is because of this movie. So I'm glad I got to mention it. It's definitely on the list. One of my top 10. It is such a good thriller, but also it's like a comedy. It's just amazing cinematography, amazing directing. The acting is phenomenal as well. So definitely would recommend if you haven't seen it. Have you guys seen it?
Definitely. It's a great
I
movie.
actually haven't, and
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah,
meaning
same.
to see it for so long. Like I know how good it is, but I've never gotten around to watching it.
You got
Well, you
to.
can watch
You
it
got to.
free on SBS On Demand.
There we go, guys.
Yeah,
Got to
I
do
think
it.
it's on SBS.
Yeah.
Definitely go watch Parasite. No, I'm a huge Bong Joon-ho fan. Ever since I think Snowpiercer, seeing that
Ah,
and then delving
Yeah,
back
yeah.
into like memories of murder and a whole bunch of other things. That just he's an amazing filmmaker, and yeah, he brings
He is, yeah.
Korean cinema to the forefront around the world, which
So
is
good.
equally impressive because these movies have to be that much better for them to reach this level of status. So I'm so happy someone picked Parasite. I was debating it. It wasn't on my like top 5 list. Maybe I would have picked it if people chose ones that I really wanted, but I'm so glad that someone brought it up.
Yeah, well, I love the movie. Like, I just think it's awesome. So yeah. Second movie.
It's so good.
This one's a bit controversial. I
Oh no,
really
it had
liked
James
it, and as
Franco.
someone. No, it's not.
Oh no.
I don't. It's not. Don't worry. It is a psychological horror. 2010 Black Swan.
Ah,
So
yes.
this one was yeah. So this one was directed by Darren Aronofsky.
Aronofsky.
don't know if
Aronofsky.
I pronounced the
Yeah.
last name wrong, but he is a great director. Stars Natalie Portman, and she is amazing. I watch all of her films. Love,
Yeah,
big fan of
Padme.
her. Padme, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Padme.
She's a stunner, but she really, of course, she's playing the two sides, and as you guys know, I love characters that have two sides to them. Of the black swan and the white swan, and it's just such a deep symbolic movie. Like every single thing that was put in, like the angles of the camera, the color grading, every single thing was symbolic to what was happening to her, and it was like a perception of her, and I just think it was just phenomenal. Like when it finished, I was like clapping in the freaking in my own room. I was like, yes, yes, it was so good. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of thrillers, but I really liked this one. So it's a bit
That's so good.
Yeah, I heard a lot about
controversial
it.
because what happens. Yeah, it's good though. It's good.
Adding that to my list.
Yeah, definitely.
no.
It's definitely one to
Put it
watch.
on the
It's
list.
you won't expect what it is until you watch it. It's one of those like as much even if you get the whole thing like spoiled to you, if you go into it, it's not going to be what you expect. It's just
Definitely.
one of those
Yep.
weird little thriller films that hold up in a unique way, and I love it. Great choice.
Makes you feel really weird.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a great sign for a thriller. It's the reason
Yeah,
I picked
that's
Gone
what you
Girl.
want.
what you
It's a
want.
similar sort of thing.
Yeah. If you want to
So
feel
good.
like you're itching, watch it. It's like it's
Oh,
disturbing,
100%.
but not in a gruesome way.
I love it. I love thriller films, dude. It's so good. And speaking of films, it's coming back to me now for my 4th pick. Yeah,
Yes.
4th one. This is where it gets tough because there's a lot of films that I want and not a lot of films I can have. So I think I might have to take what I
Don't keep
now
stealing
it's tough 'cause
mine.
I just I'm tempted because the one I was gonna pick, I'm like, that's berries. That one's berries. Oh, maybe Barry has that one. Yeah, so I'm going through. I think I'm gonna take a film from 2010. This is the start of the decade. This is one that you'll expect me to pick, Barry. It's called Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Oh yeah,
that's
Starring
I
Michael
expected you
Cera.
to have that on your list. I expected you to have that on
What
your
a
list.
good movie.
Someone was gonna say it. If it
This,
wasn't
Yeah.
me, it was someone
Yeah.
else.
I was waiting for it.
Bree mentioned Parasite being like her opening to the world of cinema and just how everything comes together. I think something like Scott Pilgrim was mine just a long time back. Like when I was like
Yeah.
11 or 12 watching this movie, definitely influenced every single decision I made for the next 10 years. I started a band after watching Scott Pilgrim. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's so
inspired
good.
me to want to start a band, and I don't even know how to play any instrument.
I love that.
It's so good. No,
That is a good
it's one of those weird movies. It's Edgar Wright, and I love every film that he's ever done. Coming and basically bringing a comic book to life, but also in a weird musical way. It's such a visceral looking film. It's like a feast for your eyes. Every frame of this film is just so much fun to look at. The story is great. It's so quirky and unique. No one could have come up with this movie,
Yeah.
apart from the person who did. It just feels so in of its own world that I have to pick it. It's so great. Plus the soundtrack is amazing. I love because it's Beck who did the soundtrack, the British singer who did a whole bunch of musical stuff across decades of his career, coming and putting this amazing soundtrack together. That Michael Cera and that play on. It's amazing. Everything about this movie is great.
And just Michael Cera like jumping through a window will always be the best scene ever done.
It's so
I do
funny.
love that one.
It is
That's a good meme.
hilarious. That might, yeah, you're right. That might be my favorite joke in a movie ever. Like
Yeah.
my favorite physical joke. So good. Oh, okay. So now it goes over to Alexia for her fourth pick. This is where it gets tough.
Okay, so I have to say this movie because I don't know, it made me obsessed with the franchise because it is
James
a
Franco?
franchise of movies. It's actually a James Franco movie. No.
Oh my god.
No!
This podcast is gonna get cancelled.
No, the movie I've chosen is a horror movie, a very famous horror movie from 2016. Called
Yes,
The
Friday the
Conjuring
13th.
2.
Oh.
No. The Conjuring 2 specifically. Because I remember when I watched that as a kid with my mom, it stuck in my head. You know that? Have you guys seen it?
Yes.
I've
yes.
only seen the first Conjuring.
Okay,
No,
the
I
I've
have only
only
seen the
seen
first two.
Past that.
The second one, it's where it's at.
Yeah.
There's a scene at one point with this girl in like a room with like a bunch of crosses, and you know how it all turns upside down. That
Yep.
that scene had been stuck in the back of my mind for years, and it's just an incredible movie. It was directed by James Wan, and it's got and the main characters, I think, Vera something and Patrick Wilson. Let me look it up.
Yeah, Ed Warren and Vera
Yeah.
Farmiga, obviously Lorraine Warren. Yeah, Patrick Wilson.
Yeah. That's her name. Just
Yeah.
incredible actors, and the movie, it felt so immersive. You know, you watch horror movies nowadays, and they're hit or miss. They either suck or they're all right. You know, but
Yeah,
The
that's very true.
Yeah.
like 2016, like during that time was like where horror movies really like peaked. You know, it was, I don't know, just incredible movie. Like visuals amazing, and story, I love it. And that's what I love about the Conjuring franchise as well. It's that it's not like some people like this kind of horror movie and like no judge, but personally I don't like horror movies that have like an open ending. Like I don't like when the thing hasn't been resolved, you know, like when
Yeah.
Yeah.
spooky scary monster turns out the monster is still alive lurking, you know, it
Oh,
just feels
no.
unfinished to me, you know. But the Conjuring, they do such a good job in wrapping up the story, and you feel satisfied when you finish watching it, you know, like you finish
Yeah.
watching it and it was a good movie and you're happy.
That's very true. No, I watched the first one and then I watched The Nun, and then that soured me on watching any of the others
Oh, no.
because The Nun was
Yeah.
so bad.
That I
I was like,
honestly
yeah,
fell
I'm not.
asleep halfway through watching The Nun because it was that boring.
I thought it was a comedy, honestly.
Don't watch
So
that.
bad.
Watch Conjuring 2. It's
Okay.
brilliant movie.
To check it out because I did like the first
Nice.
one. It felt very much like a precursor to The Exorcist, that sort of vibe. Is they're kind of honoring those sort of classic horror films. So I would definitely
Yeah.
have to check it out.
Yeah, it's a
Ooh.
really good horror. If you're into horror movies and you haven't seen The Conjuring for whatever reason, watch it. You will not regret it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now it goes back to Barry for another two films. He's
Yippee!
lucky.
Okay. Well, I would say my final two films. No, not my final two films. These two films
No.
are
Not your final. Yeah.
are going to be probably my two most favorite films of all time. and they go on par depending on like which one and how I'm feeling on the day, which is like my number one film of all time. So the one I'm feeling at the moment is Blade Runner 2049, which came out in 2017.
Ooh, that's
The
Oh,
other
you
film also
bastard.
came
Good
out
one.
in 2017. This film to me is like, yeah, similar thing, like the reason why I wanted to start making film and everything like that, because it is just such a beautiful looking film. Like every single moment that
Mm.
they show and stuff like that is just perfect to me.
Stunning.
And like just the story and how they're able to continue the franchise in a new and refreshing way, based upon like the original 80s Blade Runner film and based more upon the original book and everything like that, and bring like new life to this franchise, even though nobody saw it and it lost money, but still they're doing like a TV show now over at Amazon, which hopefully will be good. That will continue this franchise, and they've done a whole bunch of things. But yeah, just every single time I watch this film, I'm just like, this is amazing. It is stunning. It is beautiful. And watching Harrison Ford punch Ryan Gosling in the face for real, that actually does happen. You can see it
Oh,
in the
yeah.
movie. Is always funny to like watch as well, because you just see Ryan Gosling's face. It's like, I was not expecting that.
Oh,
And then it's like
gotta
Harrison
love method
Ford, like
actors.
one of his like later on films, like he can still do acting and everything like that.
Oh,
And
yeah,
this is very
definitely.
much like play as old man. And it fitted him more than like the Indiana Jones film type thing. So
Yeah,
so
the
that
visual
goes
effects on
then.
that movie.
Oh yeah, it's phenomenal. Like
It's
it's all done
phenomenal.
like
Yeah,
miniatures as well, and just the lighting and everything in it is great.
so good.
So the other film, which also came out in 2017, a lot of
Ooh,
good films came out in 2017.
I'm already
would
writing it down. Don't
be-
worry.
Okay, yeah. Would be Logan, which is another one of my favorite films of all time. It is basically my like an homage to westerns. That's the reason why James Mangold wanted to do it in the first place and everything like that. And he thought he could like end like Hugh Jackman's. Well, at this point in time, this was going to be his final film with this character and Patrick Stewart and everything like that. And it just like beautifully summarizes like the almost 17-year career Hugh Jackman had with this character. Same thing as Patrick Stewart as
Yeah.
Professor X, and it brought like a perfect ending to their characters. And
Mm.
the acting in it alone by Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman is probably the best I have ever seen him do. And it is the one film that will always make me cry. Is the scene
Oh,
when he's
really?
like burying Patrick Stewart's character. It's not when he dies, not when Professor X dies, but it's actually the scene where he buries him and then just loses his shit and stuff
Oh,
like that and starts breaking down. It's like this
so
is like
powerful.
so great. And the reason why I like James Mangold as a
Mm.
director so much is because of this film alone and how much of an homage it is to westerns. Because when I was a kid, didn't really like westerns. It wasn't until I was a bit older until I really appreciated the storytelling of westerns. And then James Mangold's like,
Oh,
I'm
really?
going to make a superhero film basically as an homage to westerns, because he loved westerns growing up as a kid. And yeah, like it's just the pacing, everything for it. The screenplay got nominated for an Oscar for it, which is very big for a comic
Wow,
book movie to get that as well,
that's so
especially in
good.
2017.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a beautiful, beautiful film. I
Yeah,
also have a
wow.
black and white version of it.
Oh, wow.
No, it's very good. It's one of the main reasons I'm so excited for Hugh Jackman returning in Deadpool 3,
Oh,
because
yeah.
he was so adamant about that being his last role, and that like this one must be good, or at least it
Yeah.
sounded good to him.
Well,
for
it's
him
a
to want it
different
back.
version of Wolverine. They've
Yeah,
said
I
that
know,
like
but it's
he's going to
still
be acting
same
differently. So
character.
yeah,
So yeah, but it's Logan's a very good movie. It's a great choice. It wasn't on my list. It was, I saw it there in some like top hundreds, top 200s that I was looking at earlier, but I was like, yeah, nah, Barry will pick it.
yep.
I wouldn't I wouldn't choose it. So sure, you can have that one. So now we go back to Alexia for her number 5.
So, this film, I wouldn't say that it's everyone's favorite, but it is a film everyone knows. And the reason why I'm putting this in my top 6 is because, and I know technically this is a film podcast, but I'm putting it down in my list because I really like the book, if I'm being honest. The book is a lot better, but it's what got me into this film franchise. Um, some of you may have heard of it. It is It was made in 2014. Let me check. Yeah, 2014, directed by Wes Ball. The Maze Runner.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Oh, yes.
So
it's
good.
really funny because Wes Ball kind of just disappeared for like 10 years and came back with Kingdom of the Apes, which was like a banger. But
Yeah.
where he really thrived was The Maze Runner because I don't know, that was the first ever film I watched that brought me into like the dystopian genre of film, and I think it did an amazing job at doing it. Just the world building of The Maze Runner, like you haven't seen anything like it in other movies, you know? It's about
Definitely.
a bunch of people trapped in like this box with giant walls, and then there's a maze beyond the walls, and they have to kind of like the way it works is the way they can escape is by completing the maze. But like the walls shift in the maze, and then there's these like monsters that lurk in the maze, and just like the concept is just so interesting. And and they got good actors. They got like Dylan O'Brien, Kaya Scodelario, Thomas Brody Sangster. They got a really good cast down, and yeah, no, just the movie. It like when I watched it, I was at the edge of my seat the entire time. There was never a
Mm.
point in the movie where it slowed down for me. And every time something would happen and you'd feel like it slows down, they like hit you with another, "Oh my god, look at this twist." And it's just such a fun movie to watch as well. And especially when you sit down and have like a movie marathon and watch all three of the movies one after the other, it's
Oh god,
amazing.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah, you're so true.
Yeah.
I give up after
I
the
could
first
watch
one.
the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
No, everyone shits on the other movies, which I mean,
Because they're
I get
bad.
it. I get it if you read the book, but they're not bad.
Yeah.
All right, it
Even
was a
then,
pretty fair adaptation from the book, but I do agree though the first one is the best one.
this one's
But
amazing.
it was amazing, yeah. And the only thing that could have made the other movies better was if they went about the book more accurately. But I mean, it's a film. You got like 2 hours to fit everything in. You're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna fit everything in
I,
the
f- I
movie.
feel like that's the case with the books themselves because even the second and third book just couldn't capture that same magic of the first one. Like
No,
all of the
definitely not.
mystery is just kind of dissipates, and so
Yeah,
it becomes this whole thing where the sequels were never going to be as good as the first one, but they really just made some terrible movies after that first one. So it's a huge
yeah.
mistake.
I think it's mainly just
Oh,
because the whole shift in genre. Because the first movie's very like mystery, very it's dystopian in another way, and then the two other
it's a
movies
dystopian
is just kind of
thriller, yeah.
yeah, and the two other ones is just kind of like an apocalypse. Like you see those kind of movies all the
Mhm,
time.
mhm.
It's not special. The first book was special. It wasn't about an apocalypse. It was about these guys trapped in a thing. They got to escape it. Fucking cool maze, cool monsters and shit. And then the other two movies is like, oh yeah, we're in a zombie apocalypse, by the way. So I can see why it's shat on, but I do think though the first movie is peak, and it is an icon. Like when you think of a dystopian movie that was popular during that time era, you're gonna think of the Hunger Games and you're gonna think of the Maze Runner,
Yeah,
right? That's
Yeah.
just how it works.
yeah, that's
That's
true.
true.
I always preferred the Maze Runner. I thought it was better than the first Hunger Games. And I love the first Hunger Games. But yeah, I was Maze Runner. I'm Team Maze Runner all the way.
Yeah, me too. It was just brilliant movie. I can rewatch that
So
again
good.
and again and still love it.
I mean, you got Dylan O'Brien in it. Of
Yeah.
course, you got to love it
Yeah.
more.
That's
Yeah, that's very
actually
true.
why I watch
But
the movie.
it's
I don't give a single crap
Yeah.
about the story. Like, I actually just watch the movie.
I
It's
don't give a crap.
Exactly.
Real.
And
So
by the
that
way,
was it.
guys,
That's
he does have a
Um,
YouTube channel when he was a kid that is still public. So if you want to see him as like an 8-year-old
Yeah.
doing
Oh,
stupid
God.
shit, and
He's-
him
yeah,
also
it's
auditioning for
fine
Frozen
as
2.
well. Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, good choice. I didn't think the Maze Runner would come up. That's very
Yeah.
impressive. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Very cool.
Again, if I didn't
It's
read the
my
books,
turn
I
again.
wouldn't have put it in my list.
Well, I read the books after watching the first movie. So I watched the first one, then read the books, and then watched the second and third when they came out. So I had that like split perspective, whereas I love the first movie and the first book, but everything else just kind of sucked.
I guess.
But
Fair enough.
yeah, my turn again. This is where it gets really tough because Barry took fucking Blade Runner, and I wanted Blade Runner, so
Haha.
I gotta
You took
think of something.
Drive.
Yeah, good.
This is my revenge.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna pick a film from 2017. This is another Edgar Wright film. I'm claiming them all up. It's Baby Driver.
Hey.
Oh,
Um,
classic.
What about Baby? Oh no, that would have been on my list if I remembered that.
That was on my list, damn it.
Oh, that's.
all right, get wrecked. Baby Driver's mine. I feel like this is the best music video ever made. It's 2 hours. It's a 2 hour long music video, and it is amazing start to finish. The way that the edits of the actual film are timed to the soundtrack, and the soundtrack's amazing. It's all classic like 40s and 50s rock and roll and jazz influences. But yeah, it's just such an amazing film, start to finish. The only thing that sort of dips is the story that kind of wavers in and out. But just the aesthetic and the vibe, and then the action and the storyline, not the storyline, the soundtrack just kind of carry you through anyway, that you don't really care that the storyline's kind of cliche.
Yeah.
Just everything
Yep.
else
About a
kind
cool
of
guy who
carries you
drives
through.
a
It's
car.
amazing.
Like,
It is about a cool guy who drives a car.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
true.
how can you not like it?
Also,
It's so
as
good.
well,
And the driving itself. Yeah, the stunt work is amazing.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on them announcing that they are doing a sequel to it?
Are
They're doing
they?
a sequel?
What?
They're doing a sequel. It is going to be Edgar Wright's
When
next
did they
film
announce
after,
this?
like, yesterday.
What?
What? I didn't see this.
No way.
Yeah.
You didn't bring it up
It's-
during the news?
Well, I had issues going on during the news.
Oh, Barry.
No, but they basically, just announced the other day that Edgar Wright has finished the script for the sequel and will be his next film after Running Man remake.
That's amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yes, I know what we're gonna do.
I'm
The
excited.
day it comes in cinemas.
I'm excited for that. I'm also excited for the Running Man remake too, because that looks very fun. The Running Man's a great movie. Some very classic 80s.
I
Edgar
watched
Wright
it
will
the
definitely
other
do that one
day,
justice.
and I'm just like, I cannot wait
So
for
good.
the remake.
Yeah.
It's so goofy.
Great
It's so
movie.
goofy.
I love it. Oh, okay. So Baby Driver is my number 5. And now it goes on over to Bree for her 2 final picks.
Oh, okay. I get to pick 2 again.
Yep.
This is really
Yeah,
hard
this is your last 2.
because I was an embarrassing movie watcher when I was a child. So 2010, I'm gonna hit you guys with Grown Ups.
What
do we think?
Oh, God.
Dennis
That's a good movie.
Dugan,
Oh.
Adam Sandler, cooked. When I tell you, I love this movie, and I've watched it over 25 times.
Yeah.
And
I
this
probably
is
have
for my
as well.
Spotify people out there. Come on, Grown Ups. Like, it is such a classic, funny film. I have it on Blu-ray and DVD. Just putting it out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I really like that film. It's not cinematic at all. I just think it's really funny.
Oh, besides that one scene with the
Watching it
arrow,
as a
that
kid,
got
it was
pretty
the funniest
cinematic.
thing ever.
Oh yeah, the arrow scene. That was crazy. It has such good songs in it as well. I'm always jamming out. If you like
The
peanut
Grown Up soundtrack?
bladders.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grown Up
It's a
soundtrack.
good
You guys don't listen to that?
Dude,
Yeah, so that's,
I won't fault you for that because I have the Wedding Singer soundtrack on CD,
Oh, yeah.
so I'm not too
Oh, yeah.
far off.
so
Don't
good.
laugh at that, Barry. It's got some
Pretty
bangers.
sure Dennis directed that as well,
That's
so that's
right.
great.
I've got like a
Yeah.
wedding singer song on my like playlist.
Ah, love you for
Yeah,
that.
good.
That's so good.
Oh,
Okay, so I get
Grown-Ups.
to pick
Oh,
one
God.
more, don't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Is
is-
it Grown Ups 2?
I'm- No, that one wasn't as good. I'm toying between 3, and I'm gonna
Oh,
get
no.
judged for all 3 of them. I might go with one of my favorites, which is 2012, The Impossible.
Oh.
Oh, great film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got Naomi Watts, Ewan McGregor, and Tom Holland as a child, of
It's
course.
got the high ground.
Yes, it's got the high ground. He
Not for long
honestly,
because the high ground gets washed away.
Yeah.
It sure does. That movie has the best practical effects for its time. 100%. Like it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
multi-million-dollar movie. Like the amount of money spent, but it got back in revenue because it was just phenomenal. The
Well,
actors
I
all
was gonna say
were
the
method
budget was
actors.
only 45 million.
That's still a lot for its time.
That's quite low for a
That's
film
low.
that size.
That's low for a film that size.
Yeah, that's impressive, honestly.
Honestly, I just love that film so much. Like, it's such an emotional, and I love natural disaster movies. I'm a sucker for that. It's such a sad story though. Like, it's so powerful. I just love the effects and the acting as well. It's got like 3 of my favorite actors in it, so just chucking that in the
Nice.
list.
Yeah,
So
that's
I think
true.
that's my list.
Because
Is that
have
my
you
list
ever
done?
seen the behind the scenes of how they made that film? Bri?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I have.
Like
It's
it is
phenomenal.
very insane, like how they actually did all that type of stuff, and like
pretty
even
crazy what they
including
do
kid
to the
actors as
actors.
well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just
Well,
like,
Tom
what?
Holland had PTSD. Not joking. The
Yeah,
poor guy.
Yeah, it's oh god, it's such a harrowing movie. It's one of those like disaster films that just takes it to that next level. It feels real.
Yeah,
Like if you
Yeah.
saw
it
this in
does.
cinema, you'd
So
probably be
immersive.
shaking as you walked
I
out.
I
Yeah.
was shaking
Um,
when I watched this in cinema.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, I was gonna say this is one of my parents' favorite films because they watched it and like both had to like leave the room at points and it was amazing.
Mm,
Yeah.
so
Great
deep.
film. Good
I
choice. I
cried
didn't have
multiple
it on my
times. Yeah.
list.
No, that's one of my favorite films. Just how emotional it is and how powerful. So there's my list. I hope you like it.
Yeah, I like how you went from Grown Ups to The Impossible. That was my
Yeah.
favorite little turnaround.
Oh no.
It's like, wow, wasn't expecting that.
I love a bit of variety in my movies.
Oh yeah, so that's
Exactly.
Bree's 6 films.
Vote for
Whoa,
me.
that's an impressive list.
Thank
Whoa,
you.
whoa,
Very
whoa!
diverse.
Because now it goes, yeah, it goes back to me, then
You.
Alexia, then Barry to pick our final films. The final 3
Oh
films.
no.
This is where it gets really tough. Barry, you got to go last. You've got the
I
worst one of
know.
all.
Yeah.
This is very hard because there's so many films that I want, and just I've only got one slot, so
Yeah,
I'm
me too.
I'm
Like
very
I have a
locked
whole
in.
list down, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna pick a film from 2017, and this is the film itself is great. There are better films on my list, that's for sure. But just it has this personal connection, in the way of the guy who wrote it was nearly on the podcast. And also,
What?
it's got James Franco in it. It's
Oh no.
2017's The Disaster Artist.
Oh
It's all
He's
coming
back.
back. It's all James Franco.
It's all James Franco.
Why
This
is it
No, but it's
podcast
very
has been
funny.
cancelled now.
Yep.
That's a shame because The Disaster Artist is amazing. I watched The Room first, out of like respect of I got to see this one first. I saw it with Greg Sestero in person at that screening last year, which was amazing. And it led to him nearly coming on the podcast, but then due to the writers' strike and scheduling issues, he couldn't. So that's unfortunate.
We'll get him one day.
But
One day.
Yeah, one day. I'll come. I'm coming for you, Greg. I still have you on my Instagram DMs. I left you on scene, but like, I'll get you. Anyway, so yeah, I watched The Room. Awful movie, terrible movie, the worst film ever made. Hard to sit
I've seen
through.
worse.
I mean, I've also seen worse, but like, oh my god. And then I watched The Disaster Artist, which is an amazing story about how terrible films get made. Uh, and it's just so compelling, start to finish. The fact that it's all based in reality, and just the absurdity of the film itself is just mind blowing. And also, James Franco is great in it as Tommy Wiseau. He plays a complete weirdo, which is very in character for him. But it's so good, start to finish. And I'm not sure if you guys have seen it. I know Barry has.
Yes, I have. I watched that and then I was like, oh, I should probably watch The Room now.
Oh, Barry.
And then I watched The Room and I was like, ugh.
Yeah. Oh, great film. Okay, so now Alexia, what's your final film?
My final film. Okay, so I'm gonna go out with a bang. Okay, I'm gonna say a banging movie as my
Uh-oh.
final film. That has James Franco. No, just kidding.
No,
Um,
it's
No.
This is the end or
It's
something.
James
Is
Dean.
that 2010's?
no.
Oh no.
This movie I chose was also made in 2017, and
Hey,
I'm
2017, good year.
I'm gonna tell you the cast, and the cast alone will tell you what the movie is. Okay. Hugh Jackman, Zac
Okay.
Efron,
Great
Zendaya.
Showman.
Ah,
Great
great show.
Showman.
Yeah.
Now we
So
can
I'm gonna say The Greatest
rewrite
Showman
the past.
as my final film because in a way I think that was also sort of my eye opening to film. It was just like cinematography,
Okay.
amazing soundtracks. Like, do I even need to
Bangin'.
say
Bangin'.
anything about the soundtracks? It's
So
fucking
good.
amazing. Yeah, it's brilliant. I remember every single time I watch The Greatest Showman, I'm always like just singing along and dancing every
Yeah,
time like
so
he
true.
starts singing. It's probably the greatest musical I've ever watched. But granted, I don't actually watch many musicals, so it's not like I had a wide pick. But
Eh,
it is just such an amazing movie. It's so inspiring as well, and it's just a wholesome movie. You
It
know,
is.
like
It's
it's
so
not
wholesome.
it's not deep, but it's inspiring. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, and it's
it's
gorgeous to
really
look
good.
at, isn't it? Like it's got great
Yeah,
visuals.
amazing visuals, and you just feel good when you watch the movie. Like
Yeah, definitely. No, I think
it's
that's
just such
such a
a
good
fun
pick.
movie.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's very
You guys are gonna
uplifting,
hate me.
and
I don't like The Greatest Showman. I thought it was bad.
Why? What's the reason?
I really
Well,
didn't like
I
it.
don't like
I
you.
thought no, I found it just like boring and sort of like
what?
uninspired
What?
the whole way
I
through.
remember in
Well,
awe. I was in the cinema in
you're weird.
awe.
Yeah,
I was like,
especially if you
I
watch
w-
it in the
yeah.
cinema as well, it's like next level experience. I
yeah,
don't know how you can
yeah.
be bored watching it. It really was an incredible movie.
Can we
Just
recreate the
didn't
scene where
click for me.
Zendaya and Zac Efron fly on the ceiling?
Yeah.
I know I want you.
It's
There's
not
not
a
a secret
Yeah.
I tried to hide. Come on, it's a banger. Let's all just watch it. Come on.
It's yeah.
No,
It's
movie
movie night
I'm
and
not
watch
gonna
Greatest
watch it. I'm
Showman.
okay.
Yeah.
Can we?
There are
And invite everyone?
there are there are so many
Yeah,
better musicals than The Greatest
no,
Showman.
no, there is not.
The
No, there is not. The
it's
Greatest
just
Showman is
yeah, there
fucking
is.
brilliant. It's a brilliant
What
musical.
about
I love it.
Little Shop of Horrors with Rick Moranis? That's
Little
better.
shop, little
Literally,
horror.
literally.
That's a little movie of
So,
horrors.
no, I didn't like Greatest Showman, so sure, you can pick it. It's not my thing. It
Well,
didn't click
I
the
think
way
you'll
La La
find that
Land
your
did.
viewers will disagree with you because The Greatest Showman
Yes.
is
Okay.
an
Watch
amazing
Alexia win
movie.
because of Megamind and Greatest Showman.
I was gonna say people are gonna
No.
vote
Yeah,
me for
yeah.
Megamind. Like I
Yeah,
got
that's
3 of the
fair.
best movies in my list. I got Interstellar, I got The Greatest
That's
Showman, I
true.
got Megamind. Like
You're gonna win.
That's
No,
that's true.
but I've got grown ups. Come on, guys.
true.
You got
Okay.
grown
Yeah, Adam
ups, that's
Sandler
true.
is
You're
just gonna be
definitely
like, he's gonna get this girl to win.
He'll
Like,
like it
someone
himself.
said like grown
Yeah, Adam
ups.
Like,
Sandler, hype me
come
up.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, hype me up.
I don't even think Adam Sandler liked grown ups. He was just having fun with
He
his
did.
friends.
Yeah, he did. Yep. It's just,
Uh,
Oh, that's great.
it's my childhood
All right.
repressive movie.
yeah.
I
Well, I
definitely want to repress it.
that brings it on to
Barry,
my
pick Grown
final
Ups too.
pick.
It's
Oh, hell no. Even though I did see Grown Ups 2 in the cinemas with a friend, and
oh
I
god,
was just
I'm
like,
sorry.
yeah. that was a horrible experience. Since I'm the final one, I did have one I was gonna say, but it's quite a common one and everything like that. But I'm gonna say something a little bit different that
Okay.
probably no one here has actually seen. Well, I hope you've seen it. It's kind of like a feel good film for me in a way. Came out in 2012. It's a little film called Silver Linings Playbook, starring Bradley Cooper
Oh.
and Jennifer Lawrence and Robert De Niro. Yeah, and a David O.
Yeah.
Russell film. I adore this film. There is something about it. I will go back, and when I'm feeling down and out, I will just go and watch this film because it's such like a unique story and unique like character in a way. Like just the way that they showed it, all the mental breakdowns and stuff like that was just so good. And I think when this movie came out as well, I was going through like a tough time, and then I remember seeing this film. I was like, oh, like wow, like this film like is phenomenal about dealing with stuff and mental issues and everything like that. And it's still one of those things to date. Just the representation, how they did it all and stuff like that, and the performances done by everyone is just great. And it's like
Is
a
it a
very
rom-com?
wholesome film. Yeah, in a way. Like obviously Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence's
Isn't it a
character.
sport movie?
No, it does
No.
have sports in it because
No?
like the dad's like on bidding for like the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's the reason as well because I
Yeah,
love the
that's
Philadelphia Eagles, and they support the
Really?
Philadelphia
Oh.
Eagles in his team, and so I'm just like, yes, this is my go-to film. But yeah, like I will watch this film like once every couple months. I just love it, and
Oh wow.
it's a unique little story, and just it's an uplifting film, I suppose.
That's
Yeah.
so
I'll put it on the list.
It's going on
Oh
the
my
And
gosh,
it's
list.
also
won
got
3
Jamie
Oscars.
Weaver. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
a shit ton of Oscars, and like Chris Tucker's in it. She Wiggum's in it. All the cool people.
Oh wow.
All right. Must watch
Yeah.
it is.
I think
Yeah.
I've seen bits of it. I've never watched the whole thing, but I remember it's like scenes or like images from it in my head. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like the
I'll have to
only
wa-
David
chuck
O.
it on
Russell
fully.
film I like. From
I don't
his.
even know who that is, so yeah.
It's the guy that did American Hustle and like Three Kings and Joy, and
I
Amsterdam.
loved American Hustle. I nearly picked American Hustle. I love that one. Dude.
Yeah. So if you haven't watched it,
Okay.
go watch it because
Yeah.
it is like a fun little just wholesome film about this guy who's got mental issues because he went through a divorce and because his wife cheated on him, and then meets Jennifer Lawrence's character who's got her own set of problems as well because stuff happened with her, and then like Robert De Niro is just great in it as always because it's Robert De Niro like plays as his dad and also
Need I
that's fair.
say more?
bets on stuff and everything like that. He's just like a great old man dad vibes in it, so it's good. It's a nice movie. And you got Bradley Cooper in like a
That's so
garbage
good.
bag while he runs, which is also a thing.
That's fun.
Okay. Well, that's it for the list. Before we get
That's
into
it.
revealing everyone's picks, does anyone have some honorable mentions they'd like to throw out? Films they didn't get to
Ooh,
talk about?
I do.
Yeah.
Anything?
I do. I do. Okay,
go
thank
for
you
it.
for saying that, Clay. I'm very excited. I was toying between Whiplash, 2014,
Another good film.
indie film, musical.
Yep.
What?
Mhm.
Fix that film? I thought it was, you
It's
know,
an amazing movie. Don't listen to him.
Thank you,
Whiplash is
thank you.
So good. I fucking love
It's
it.
so
Good
good.
film.
And
It is very good.
2018 Black Panther. I really liked that movie.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
'Cause, you know,
Yeah.
Marvel churned out multiple box office hits from 2010 to 2019, and no one said any of them. I just realized.
That's true.
I said
I was
Logan,
tempted.
but that was Fox.
Oh, you
so-
said Logan.
No.
It's, yeah, it's
I
Fox.
nearly
It's
picked
technically not
Guardians of the
Marvel.
Galaxy.
But it is Marvel.
Yeah,
It is
Guardians was
Marvel, I
close.
suppose. Yeah, Guardians was on my
Yeah.
list.
Honestly, that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
peak
definitely.
for Marvel. Like, I just wanted to give Marvel an honorable mention because I think when it became like 2021, when I think all the
Oof.
really, really bad films came out, like
Basically
anything
after
past-
Endgame.
Yeah, I was gonna,
Yeah.
I was gonna
They
say
kinda just died
Except the
down a little
Eternals.
bit.
I loved the
No Way
Eternals, and I'm the
Home.
only one.
Is it No Way Home? Far From Home. That's right. Oh yeah, Eternals was good, but Far From Home, anything under that, I was crushed and disappointed,
Yeah.
and had to
Yeah.
rip my Marvel posters off my walls.
Oh.
Oh no.
Maybe a bit dramatic,
That's so
but
funny.
it's sad but true. But that was my honorable mention. I just wanted to add in.
Very cool. Alexia, did you have any that you wanted to bring up? I know you called out.
Yeah, I did actually have quite a few. I had. Oh my god, what did I saw? I was gonna say this as my first movie initially, but then I remembered Megamind.
Mm-hmm.
But originally I was
That's
gonna say
fair.
Kick-Ass as one of my honorable
Yeah.
that's
I love
That's a
Kick-Ass.
great
made in
film.
2010. Fucking
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
hilarious movie. It's a great film. Just it's everything a superhero film like
Mm-hmm.
should be, but also shouldn't be. You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just like shitting on Marvel movies and like any superhero film, but it does it so good. You know?
Up until the ending. The ending is so bad.
Yeah, and then the sequel.
Yeah.
We don't get started on
Yeah.
that. But the
Yeah.
Kick-Ass one
It is
fun.
great.
Was good. I also had the second Zoolander movie in my list as
Oh,
well.
Oh,
because
okay.
Zoolander is it's so funny. What? Like, why does no one talk about Zoolander anymore? It's like I know the memes. Like we had a lot of
Yeah.
Zoolander memes come in like last year or the year before, and then it just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. And it's like, why is no one talking about it
Just
still?
like Ben
Zoolander was so
Stiller.
funny. Yeah.
where did he go?
Yeah.
He just
He's still
died.
around.
he
did, like-
don't say
he was doing, like,
that.
Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and he did the Night at the Museum
Yeah,
films in
and then he
between
just, like,
Zoolanders, stuff like
disappeared.
that.
Yeah.
He's doing his thing.
um
He's, I don't know,
He's like, "I'm
skating down a
gone."
mountain somewhere.
Probably.
Yeah.
Doing Ben Stiller
I
things.
also had
Something like
I
that.
also had Shutter Island on my list as well that I was gonna
Ooh,
mention.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah, but I thought it was a bit cliche, so I didn't bring that up.
Oh, that's okay. I tried to pick movies that weren't decided, like the big ones as well. Like I left out my favorite film of all time, Sing Street from 2016, which I've had on multiple lists before, and so I was like, I'm
Yep.
just leaving that out.
We've spoken
Um,
about that
Which is
many a
again
times.
Good movie.
because it's the best film ever made, and I stand by that. I think it's amazing. That is
Yeah.
the reason I want to make films.
I mean, yeah,
shut
like
up,
you,
Barry.
you talked about it like for so long that I finally watched it. And I was like, I understand now. Like, I understand. I think like was the night I watched it, I messaged you. I was like, hey, want to start a band?
Yeah, I think you did say that. Okay,
Wait, can
all
I
right.
say
I'm
one more
gonna
honorable
quickly.
mention? Can I say one more?
Sure.
Go.
Okay, it'll be quick. I was debating on also saying How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh,
That's
that's
Oh,
such a
yes.
good movie. Yes.
But I didn't want two
Yeah.
animated
Oh
movies.
my
on
gosh,
list,
composed by
but-
John
First
Powell.
one is amazing.
I'm actually
Yeah.
related to him, guys.
Wow, your family member. That's right. Yeah.
So good.
Okay, I'm sorry, Brie, for
He did
holding
Kung Fu Panda as well.
So cool.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's so good.
Cool.
Okay, I'm gonna quickly run through the list so Bree can disappear. Starting with Berry, who kicked it off. These are the 6 films that he had. He had The Town, followed by The Nice Guys, then Looper, and
Mhm.
Blade Runner 2049, Logan, and finally Silver Linings Playbook. That's a pretty solid list.
That is
Nice.
a
And then
very good list. I'm
Alexia.
happy with that list.
It's a good list. And then an even better list for half of it. It's Alexia opening it up with Megamind, then
Because it's a great movie.
127 Hours, Bree's favorite film, and then Interstellar, The Conjuring 2, The Maze Runner, and then finally The Greatest Showman.
It's a solid
Uh,
list.
and
I'm
then-
happy with that as well.
So good.
This is a
That list
very
is gonna win.
varied list. It's so
That
good.
is a
And then me, my own list. I opened it up with Drive, and then I have Gone Girl, Inside Llewyn Davis, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Baby Driver, and then finally The Disaster Artist. And then Bree, whose list is even more varied, kicked it off by stealing La La Land, and then Eat, Pray,
yeah.
Love, Parasite, Black Swan, and then the kick-ass finale of Grown Ups and The Impossible. That might
Yep.
be my favorite list just because of how wacky it is.
So good.
Oh wow,
I love it.
so good. Well, before I let you guys go, is there anything that you want to promote or working on? Anything you want to shout out on the podcast?
Thanks for having us on. We had a blast. I love talking about films.
Yeah. Same here.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd promote
anytime.
films. Just go
anytime.
out and watch
Films.
films.
Yes.
Anytime,
Go watch
anywhere.
more films, everyone. Anytime,
do
any
it.
place, anywhere.
Yeah.
That's my
All right. Well,
advice.
yeah. Thanks for coming on, guys. We enjoyed having you on. Feel free to
Yeah,
come
had a
back
lot of fun.
anytime.
I know. This actually
But,
worked out well.
that's
Like, this is
it
the
from
first time
us.
we've ever had 2 people like as guests at the same time. Like, it's
it didn't
great.
fully
It's great.
break.
It didn't fully break. It
It was
broke
the
in the
best
beginning,
people.
but it managed to like
Yeah.
sort itself out later on.
Technical issues in the beginning. So good.
That always happens. Wouldn't be
I
a We
am
Talk Film
still-
podcast
Oh,
without technical issues.
I am still a little bit salty that you didn't invite me on your podcast where you talked about Society of the Snow. Yeah, I'm still holding that against you guys. I'm still holding that against you guys.
Yeah.
That's our
When they do
biggest
the
episode,
sequel,
too, that you
we'll
missed
invite
out.
you.
Yeah.
I should have been on the FNAF podcast for real.
Oh my god,
It's
yeah.
fine.
man.
Oh, actually,
think-
I
I
should
would have
because I would've
talked
just
up
sat
a
on the movie the whole
storm.
time.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think we
had
had
to talk about that
Tyson
film.
on the FNAF one.
Yeah, because
So
We
good.
I
had
went to go
Tyson
and
on that one. That was
take
a good
him
episode.
to the movie. That was funny. Him and I had a daddy and son date.
That is what the
Okay.
heck.
All right, wrap it up there, Barry. Roll the outro.
Well, thanks for
Okay.
coming out, everyone. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, all the stuff, all the places where you watch the podcast. Thanks, Brianna. Thanks, Alexia, for coming on for tonight's episode. And we'll see everyone next time here at We Talk Film.